The Radio Memories Network is brought to you in part by Liberated Syndication, podcast publishing made easy, libsyn.com. That's libsyn.com.
Welcome to the Old Time Radio Network Detective Stories, continuing America's love affair with private eyes. We now go back to the early days of radio and our imaginations with our feature presentation.
Now for this week's episode of Bulldog Drummond.
Snarling silver cracks of lightning flash across the black sky. The brooding wind whips at the heavy rain. The water churns itself into waves of white-capped anger. The elements rage, as here in this storm-swept sea, man plots his age-old crime against man, murder. Denny and I were out on the west coast on a weekend holiday of deep-sea fishing.
Well, it looks as though we're going to have some rough going, sir.
Yes, better head it back for Catalina, Denny.
Even at top speed, Catalina should be a good 3-hour run from here, and this storm is going to cut our rate down considerably.
I know, but I'd rather not trust this boat to ride us out of the twister blowing toward us. Swing her around and throttle as much as she'll take.
Very well, sir.
Better switch on the head beams. It'll be as black as pitch in a few moments.
Right, sir. Captain Drummond.
What is it, Denny?
Look, sir. Up ahead in our headlight beam. There's a man in the water.
Hurry, give it more speed.
This is all she'll safely take, sir. He's gone, sir. I don't see him.
Swing to your right. There he is, about 50 feet ahead.
I see him, sir.
All right. Now try to hold it to this course.
I'm trying, sir, but the waves are forcing us off.
Just a few feet more. Quickly now, cut the motor down.
You see him, sir?
Yes, he's off the port side here.
Be careful, sir. We're turning into the lee of the waves.
I've got him, Denny. Come here, help me put...
You, sir.
Never mind the wheel. Come on, hurry.
Yes, sir.
All right, now grab his other arm.
I have it, sir.
Put him up. There. All right, now let him down easy, right here on the bench.
He's certainly a lucky fellow, Captain Drummond. We reached him just in time. He couldn't have lasted much longer.
Denny, he isn't as lucky as you think.
What, sir?
He's dead.
Dead? But I don't understand, sir. He was swimming when we first saw him. He was afloat when you grabbed him in the water. He wasn't drowned.
No, he wasn't drowned, Denny. Look here, this bullet hole in his chest. He was murdered.
It's almost unbelievable, Captain Drummond.
Well, that corpse below in the cabin is very believable, Denny.
But where could he have come from? We're at least 60 miles from land.
He was evidently on a boat. Probably a large one.
A large one? How do you know that, sir?
These papers,
Where did you get them?
they were in his trouser pocket. His name is Ralph Simpson. These papers are seaman's credentials.
Then he was working aboard the ship?
Yes.
Well, that does clear things up a bit, eh? We should be able to trace the name of the vessel Simpson was on when we get back to shore.
Yes, Denny, if we get back to shore.
If.
Right now, I'm more concerned about some unpleasant facts other than Ralph Simpson's murder. That our gas gauge is dropping much too quickly. The storm is rising in intensity every minute.
Captain Drummond, look! Look, sir! To our starboard! Lights!
Across the reach of darkness, I saw them. Dim little yellow lights that flickered and danced. Through the mounting fury of the waves, we pushed slowly in their direction. Gradually, the lights grew larger and larger. Gradually, as we moved closer and closer, the outlines of a good-sized yacht took shape. All right, Denny. We're coming alongside. Drop the speed.
Yes, sir. How's that, sir?
A little more. That's it. I can make out a Jacob's ladder. It's hanging up ahead a bit. Cut your motor. I've got it. Bring the line here.
Coming, sir.
We'll tie up to this ladder.
Here you are, sir. I take an oath, sir, right here and now, never, never again will I leave terra firma.
Yes, Denny, once you get back to it.
Well, the size of this yacht, I'd say, makes that a certainty, sir.
All right, now. Our boat is tied fast. Up we go. You first.
With pleasure, sir. I leave our floating matchstick with no regrets.
Better spare your comments if we get on deck, Denny. These ladders have no respect for land legs.
All right, here, sir. Let me give you a hand.
Thanks, I can make it.
Well, now the storm can rage its worst, sir. We're safe and sound.
That's odd.
What, sir?
The chart house over there.
What about it?
No one's in it. It's empty. There's no one at the wheel of the ship.
Oh, they're probably just letting it ride out the storm.
If they are, Denny, it certainly is in an unorthodox manner. Come on.
Where are we going, sir?
The cabin's on the rear deck. After all, we owe someone thanks for this nautical hitchhike.
That's right, so we do, sir.
Wait! Wait! Why did you two come out on deck? Don't you realize what are you doing here? Where did you come from?
I'm sorry to shock you this way.
Who are you?
Our boat was caught in the storm. We tied up alongside and took the liberty of coming aboard. My name is Drummond, Captain Hugh Drummond.
And I am...
You shouldn't have come on here. You shouldn't have come.
Believe me, we prefer not to intrude, but certainly...
Get off the ship.
Oh, now, see here, young lady. There are certain rules of the seas that require you to give us
Get
refuge.
off. Do you hear? Get off.
I'd like to discuss our leaving with the captain, so if you'll be kind enough to show me to him...
Listen, you fools. I'm telling you this for your own good. Get off while there's still a chance. There's death aboard this ship. There's death on it everywhere.
All right. Now go on with your story.
But he'll find me here. He'll kill me just like he'll kill the others. I know it, Captain Drummond. I know it. We can't escape.
Now, don't worry. You're safe here. Denny is guarding the door to this chart house.
Nothing can stop him. He'll kill us all, every one of us. Don't you see we haven't a chance?
Maybe you will have a chance. If you'll just try to get hold of yourself so I can get some sense out of all this.
What can I tell you?
First, who are you?
Mrs. Hilton. Claire Hilton.
Well, now, that's a start. Now about the killer and his victims.
We were invited aboard this ship for a weekend cruise.
Who do you mean by we?
My husband, Charles Hilton, and his 3 business partners. Robert Stevens, Sidney Kramer, and George Wilson. They have a brokerage firm on the coast.
And your host, who is he?
We didn't know at the time.
What do you mean by that?
For Charles and I had just returned from Chicago. My husband suffered a stroke last January. He lost the use of his legs. I took him to Chicago to see a specialist. His answer was the same as all the others. There was no hope. Charles will be confined to a wheelchair the rest of his life. Well, as I was saying, we had just returned home when we received the invitation to come on this cruise. The invitation was signed Mr. X.
Mr. X?
Yes. We thought it was some sort of a lark.
And Mr. Hilton's partners received the same invitation?
Yes. We all decided to accept. I thought the trip would be good for Charles. We came aboard this morning. Our host didn't make his appearance. We tried to find out from the captain who he was. But he wouldn't tell us. He said we'd find out tonight.
And you did?
Charles did. My husband was alone in his cabin. He came in to talk to him, to tell him that none of us would return from the trip alive.
The captain told him that?
No. Our host, Richard James, he said he'd come back someday. He said he'd come back and get them all.
Look here, I realize you're very upset, but I still don't understand. Just who is this Richard Gaines?
He was a junior member in a brokerage firm. Gaines manipulated a securities fraud. My husband and his partners found out about it. Gaines asked him for a chance to cover his swindle and refused. He was arrested and given 5 years.
And now he's
This is
out
the
of
legend
Yes.
of a man and a horse.
We'd all forgotten
How they
about
met.
him, and now
The story of the Lone Ranger
he's aboard this
and his great horse
boat, and he'll
Silver.
kill us all, just as he told Charles.
Did you tell the ship's captain the fact?
No,
Why not?
The Lone Ranger and
Couldn't find him. We looked everywhere. We couldn't find him.
His name was
We don't even know.
Carnation. They had followed his trail for
The
many
captain,
weeks.
his name was
until
Ralph
finally,
Simpson, is
they
that right?
noticed that the
Yes.
hoof prints of the outlaw's
How
horse
do you
were
know?
fresh.
I found him. He's in the cabin of my boat,
Yes, Tonto.
dead.
He can't be far ahead.
That's right. Simpson was murdered.
Maybe better we shoot in sight. No.
We wanted to get him out of the way so he could do to us what we wanted.
So it appears.
Over there.
And now, Mrs. Hilton, I should like to meet your
Tonto, he missed
husband,
me, but he shot my
Simpson.
horse. Get after
Charles
him.
is in his cabin. He's locked himself in.
And the
Tonto's
others?
horse was
In the
tired and
main
no match
cabin.
in speed for the
There-
animal Cavendish Road. The outlaw escaped. When Tonto returned from the
What
shooting
is
chase,
Someone down
he
on the
found the
deck.
Lone Ranger
I just
standing
caught
beside his
glimpses of him
dead
slipping
horse.
in and out
A
of the
good
cabin.
horse, Tonto.
I'm sure he's
Loyal,
making his way toward this chart
brave.
house.
James.
But my next horse must be faster.
Talking about, sir.
I
Who's
wish
this
that-
game?
I'll explain later, Denny. You stay here,
You've heard
Mrs.
stories
Hilton.
No,
about
no, no,
wild
no.
horses.
Please don't leave me alone. Please don't leave me here.
All right. You walk back behind us. Come on, Denny.
We'll be on the lookout for the wild horse while
Where
we
did you
follow
spot him last?
Cavendish.
That's behind that lifeboat up ahead, sir.
Wait. There's a figure coming from behind the lifeboat.
He's coming this way.
It's James.
Tonto's horse
He's on
carried the Lone Ranger's
Right,
saddle,
right,
his
don't
saddlebags and bridle,
We'll wait till he comes
while the
back.
masked man and the Indian continued on foot along the outlaw's trail. When they reached the top of a
All right,
hill,
come on.
Tonto.
Oh,
they
shot,
halted
sir.
suddenly,
Those shots weren't
stared
meant
at
for
an
us, Denny.
How do
awe-inspiring
you know?
sight far down
Because
in
the
the
bullets
valley.
found their mark.
They saw
Right
a
here,
great
Denny,
white
by the
stallion in
rail.
a death
The
fight with a
man.
giant
The man
buffalo.
who came
The
behind
horse
the
was
lifeboat.
plunging, rearing,
Robert.
charging, and dodging wildly. And the
Robert,
sun
please.
flashed from his coat as from a coat of polished silver.
Yes.
They realized that this was the legendary white stallion, the one ranchers and hunters had talked so much about.
Tonto, watch that
None of us will get off this ship alive. None of us.
I'll get closer before it's too late.
As he ran downhill, the Lone Ranger watched the battle. The sleek white stallion was nimble and courageous, but his strength
I'll
began
be
to
back in a
wane. The buffalo charged again and again. The splendid muscles of the white horse were slower in responding. Then,
A
too
mad
slow,
killer
he was caught by the
lurked in the
buffalo's
shadows
charge.
aboard a
White
storm-tossed
crimson stained his
boat.
pure white coat. Another
Two
charge.
victims had
The
already
white horse
met
saw
their
it
death,
coming, and he couldn't dodge.
but they were
He
more
staggered
on
and
escape.
fell. The monster drew back
I had
and lowered
Denny
his
watch
head for
over
the death
Mrs.
charge.
Hilton in the chart
And
house,
then, two shots
while I
rang
went
out.
to the main cabin to see what I could do
The
for the
buffalo
others.
shuddered from the impact of the masked
I told
man's
Sidney
bullets.
Kramer and
For an
George
instant,
Wilson
he
what had
stood
happened to the
motionless.
ship's captain
Then
and their
fell.
associate, Robert Stevens. I told him not to go out. I told Stevens not to go. That's right. He might still be alive if he listened to you, Kramer.
Sure, in union there's strength. Let's all stick in here and get it together.
Oh, shut up, Wilson. You've had too much. Kramer's right, Wilson. I suggest you hold up on that stuff a bit.
You do
Bruised,
you?
battered,
Well, who
and
asked you into this? This is our party, and I'm making it a good one for me. Drink,
During the
but
next
tomorrow
several days,
he
the last
die.
survivor
Yeah,
they cared
tomorrow,
for
the
was-
next hour, the next minute.
You're not helping things, Wilson. You're just making them worse for yourself. Why don't you be a good guy and do what Captain Drummond says?
Why?
Because, you fool, maybe he can get us all off this spot. Maybe he can get James before he gets us.
With what? What is he gonna get him with?
There might be ways.
Don't kid
I wonder
yourself,
if you'll
Drummond.
take the saddle.
Nobody's
Let's try.
swimming home from here. Nobody. Not even you. Stevens thought he could duck him. How
No,
did
Tonto, wait.
Stevens look when you
Go.
found him, Drummond? Go ahead, tell us about it again. Kramer here might like to hear it again.
Stop it. Kramer. Yes, Captain Drummond? What about Charles Hilton? Has either one of you seen him? Well, we tried to get in to talk to him. He wouldn't open his cabin door. He said he wouldn't open it for anybody.
No, sir. Charlie Hilton's got it all figured out. He's just gonna sit in his cabin nice and tight. He's not gonna open his door for anybody. No, sir. Not even for
What I
game.
said.
Wouldn't he let his wife in? No one.
Not even Mrs. Charlie Hilton would he let in. Not even her. Well, that's a sweet husband for you.
Why don't you get out of here, Wilson?
Well, that's a great idea. It's the best idea you ever had. Well, why didn't I think of that?
Wilson,
What do you want?
where are you going?
To my
It was
cabin.
something stronger.
I'm going to
Some
bed.
Wilson, wait.
bond of
Get your hands off me.
For heaven's sake, listen to me. There's a chance I can save you if you'll do as I say.
I'll take my own chances my own way. Now, get your hand off.
Wilson, wait. Kramer, you stay here. What are you going to do? I'm bringing Wilson back. What about me? You can't leave me alone here. I'll be back just as soon. No, don't you see? If I'm alone, he'll kill me. That's what he's waiting for. That's just what he's waiting for. Wilson,
place of
Come on
men and
with
the
me.
weight of a saddle and a rider. But the masked man was a kind
Sam,
teacher. He was
look at
gentle
him,
yet
John.
firm, and Silver
Wilson.
was intelligent.
Wilson.
The stallion seemed to sense the
Wait,
desires
hold
of the
it.
Lone Ranger and did
Are
his
you going
best
to
to
look for Wilson?
cooperate. He learned
We don't have to
quickly.
look any further,
After several
Kramer.
days of training,
What are you
he was
doing?
ready.
What did you pick up there?
See for yourself. It rolled up against the rail.
A bottle.
Yes, the bottle Wilson had with him.
No hoofs
where
had
is
ever
he?
beat the plains like those thundering hoofs of the great horse Silver.
Yes, Denny, I'm all right.
What happened?
Mrs. Hilton and I heard the scream from the chart house.
This is Wilson.
Man and Tonto trailed him relentlessly with only a
Where is
minimum
Wilson,
of
sir?
rest.
Somewhere in those waves below,
Down
Denny.
the outlaw's lead,
Wilson was pushed
but at
over this
long
rail
last,
to his
Cavendish
death.
came into view.
There he is. Come on, Silver!
The mighty stallion responded with a new burst of speed. Cavendish
Well,
fired
the storm
wild
seems
shots
to be
over his
subsiding
shoulder
somewhat,
until his
sir.
gun was empty.
It may be
His
just a
horse, though
temporary
powerful
lull,
and
but
fast, was no match
in
for the
case it's a
charging
real
Silver.
break, we're going to take advantage of
Fear
it.
and panic
What do you
filled
have
the
in
outlaw's
mind?
face. He
I
heard
noticed
the
there was
shots
some
ever nearer.
gasoline tins.
Then the
Ah.
masked man shout.
Get a rope and lower them to our boat. If the storm does let up, I'm taking Mrs. Hilton
The
and
masked
Kramer
man's
back to
avowed
Catalina.
mission
Well,
was
what about
accomplished.
Charles, Captain
The last
Drummond?
of
What
the
about my
Cavendish gang
husband?
was captured,
naturally, he's
to be
coming with
tried
us,
by
too.
law
If you can
and
get him out of
punished
that
for his
cabin he's
crimes.
locked himself in.
I'll
There
get him
were
out.
many others whose
Denny, you go
criminal
ahead and
plans
take care
were
of
to
those
be challenged
gasoline
by the Lone
Yes, sir.
Ranger,
Right away.
his faithful Indian
All right,
companion
Mrs. Hilton.
Tonto,
Now,
and his great
Kramer,
horse
you and
Silver.
I will see what we can do about prevailing on your husband.
Charles' cabin is the last one at the end of this corridor.
We'll let Mrs. Hilton do the talking, Kramer. We'll try it that way first.
All right.
Here it is.
Very well. Go ahead, Mrs. Hilton.
Charles? Charles, it's Claire. Let me in. Charles, let me in, please. There's someone here to help us. It's all right, Charles. You can open the door now. Drummond, he won't answer me.
He probably thinks it's a trick. Hilton, Claire's telling the truth. Open the door. We do have someone to help us. We can beat James at his own game now. Unlock the door, Hilton. Let us in.
It's no use. I know how he is. I know how stubborn he can be.
All right. Stand back, Mrs. Hilton. Kramer, you get over here.
What are you going to do?
We're breaking this door in. Get ready, Kramer. Drive into it with all your might.
I'm ready.
All right. Let's go. All right, harder. It's starting to give. Another one should do it.
Right.
Well,
Charles, are you all... Captain Drummond, he's not here. Charles isn't here.
Captain Drummond! Captain Drummond!
back here, Denny, on the aft deck.
Say, I've been looking all over for you, sir.
We were making a search below deck.
Search? For what?
My husband. He wasn't in the cabin.
Hilton, too, sir?
Yes, my Charles, too.
Now, I told you, Mrs. Hilton, there's a chance that your husband may be all right.
Of course, Claire. Maybe he decided to hide someplace else. Don't you worry. We'll find him, and you'll see he'll be just fine.
No, it's no use. It happened to Charles just like it did to the others.
But his wheelchair wasn't in the cabin. That means he got out of there. If Gaines had gotten in there, he would have... Well...
It looks as if the storm is letting up, Denny. Did you take care of the gasoline?
No, sir. That's why I was looking for you.
What do you mean?
Well, I got the tins as far as the Jacob's ladder, and then I discovered it. I can't understand how it happened.
Denny, what in the devil are you talking about?
Our boat, sir. It wasn't tied to the bottom of the ladder where we left it. The boat's gone.
Captain Drummond,
Yes, Kramer?
come here.
What is it?
Look over there. Across the deck, at the rail.
Why, sir, it's an empty wheelchair.
Yes. Empty. Gaines got Hilton. And now, that leaves me. How's Mrs. Hilton, Captain Drummond?
She was quite hysterical. I gave her a sedative.
Captain Drummond,
Yes, Kramer?
you know, I consider myself a very lucky man.
We're all very lucky. Those of us who were left.
Well, I owe you a great deal. If you hadn't been aboard, Gaines wouldn't have left in your boat before his work was finished. Now, I'm alive and headed home.
You know, you can really thank Denny for this trip back to shore. He found the emergency flare gun that brought this Coast Guard cutter to our rescue.
Well, maybe Captain Drummond and I'm being just a little too optimistic, huh?
What do you mean by that?
Well, Gaines is still loose. You know as well as I do that he won't stop until he gets to me. Or at least makes a good stab at it.
I wouldn't worry too much about Gaines if I were you, Kramer. When we boarded this cutter, I had the officer in charge send out an alarm to pick up my boat. I also had a radiogram sent to the California State Police. I don't think you or Mrs. Hilton will have anything more to fear from Gaines.
But what if he escapes the police? Will we get protection?
Oh, yes, I'm taking care of that. I'm seeing to it that both you and Mrs. Hilton will be watched very closely.
It's Claire, Charlie.
I thought you'd never get up here to the lake.
This is the first chance I had. Drummond's been having one of the city cops keeping an eye on me.
What? You have someone on your trail and you come up here? You crazy fool. What's the matter with you? You want to ruin everything?
Oh, don't get excited, Charlie, dear. That cop was only put there for my protection. He thought I went to bed. It was easy to slip out of the house. Ah, there's not a thing to worry about, believe me.
You sure, Claire?
Mm-hmm. Charlie.
What?
Aren't you going to kiss your loving wife?
Yeah, sure.
Such enthusiasm, really.
Well, how do you expect me to feel? I spent years setting up a foolproof plan. Everything is set to go just right, perfect. And then that Drummond comes along.
Well, with a bad brain.
And all the trouble I go through so we can get what we want. I fake my way into a wheelchair. I kill Gaines when he gets out of prison. I fix it so he looks like the one they'll be after. I hire that boat so I can get rid of my partners the good, safe way.
It was a good plan, Charlie. You'd have the business off. We'd be on Easy Street the rest of our lives.
It's not too late, Claire. We still can be there.
What do you mean?
They'll still be looking for Gaines, just like I planned. Won't they?
Yeah.
They think I'm dead, don't they?
Well, very dead, Charlie.
All right. So I can still get what I want. We just have to change it a little bit, that's all.
What are you going to do?
The only one standing between us and the money is Kramer. I'll get Kramer like I did the rest.
Well, what about you? You'll have to stay dead.
That's the idea, Claire. With Kramer out of the way, the business goes to you. Now, that's the way I set the company up. You sell the business out. I meet you in Mexico. How does that sound to you, Claire?
Well, to tell you the truth, Charlie, it doesn't sound too good.
What do you mean?
It sounds better to me if you were really dead.
Huh?
Really dead, Charlie. Like you're supposed to be. Really dead. Like this gun will make you.
Hey, come on. Where?
Don't move, Charlie.
What is this, Claire? What kind of a joke is this?
No joke, Charlie. It's no joke at all. I just don't like the idea of living with a dead man. I like an idea of my own better. I like the idea of having all that money for myself. You're going to be as dead as Gaines, dear. I'll take care of Kramer myself. Never suspect me. Just as you did. Gaines will be the one they'll suspect. Only dead men don't talk, do they, Charlie? They don't talk. How does that idea sound to you?
Drop that on me.
Captain Drummond!
I said drop it. Thank you. All right, Denny, get it.
Yes, sir.
So, Mrs. Hilton, this is your dear departed husband.
A cute couple, eh, Drummond?
Yes, about as cute as a pair of rattlesnakes.
No comment from the Hiltons, sir.
I'm sure the Hiltons said much more than they cared to have anyone hear.
It was very revealing listening. Didn't you think so?
The jury will find it more damaging than revealing, Denny. And Hilton, talking about damaging evidence, I've got something in my I want to show you. These heels. I removed them from the shoes I found in your cabin aboard the death ship. Struck me as rather peculiar that an invalid who'd been confined to a wheelchair should have his heels run down in such a marked manner. I decided to let these heels follow in your wife's footsteps. As you see, Mrs. Hilton was most obliging.
And that's, I'd say, about closes the matter, eh?
Just about, then. Oh, no, not quite. There's one more thing I did want to mention. These two were exchanging ideas a moment ago. But the cause of law will soon present an entirely different idea to the Hiltons, and I was just wondering how that idea is going to sound to them.